I'm the guy who's mad that I didn't get invited to the party that I would have never gone to anyway.
That's a fucking beautiful way to look at it.
So I'm like, with Grammys and playlisting and certain things where I'm like, yo, how do we debut number 4 at blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
But the guy who streams 20 times less than me is higher on me on the plays. And my wife is like, you just said you wanted to drop this off for culture.
Yeah.
Like, relax.
I kind of want to begin where we stand today, which is like, where does inspiration, do you have to work at it? Do you wait for it to hit you? How did you feel this morning when you woke up? Is today a day where you're like, I'm going to write today, I'm going to create today, or I'm just going to talk to the Kiwi and fuck off home and hang with my family? Like, what's today?
We're just getting over stomach bugs in the house. It kind of swept through all 3 boys, and it's been a bit of a crazy week. But in general, though, as far as the creative thing, it's like you have more of like a slotted time for it to open up to it. You try to stay as present as you can all day, and obviously things will come in just through natural life. But like 11 to 7, Monday through Friday in the studio is when I kind of prepare myself to be like, okay, I'm playing now. I'm unlocking, let it come in. Yeah. Let the conduit happen.
Yeah. There are other people I know, friends of mine and great artists who do it that way too. Damon Albarn goes to work. He goes to his Studio 13 and he just goes to work. And it's like, no matter what, I'm going to get something. I don't know what it is, I'm going to get something.
And that thing it was fearful for me in the beginning. Like, it was really like, oh, man.
You didn't get into this to do a job?
No, when you're a kid, you're like 18 and you're just in the studio till 7 in the morning and you sleep all day and then you wake up in the studio on the bed in the studio and you get back to it and you think that that's the struggling, surviving, and I have to be doing it this way in order for it to be successful, for it to feel real. So there was definitely fear, like, changing my life to just be a healthier human being, to like be able to live till I'm in my older age.
Yeah.
So when you start to make those decisions, you have to kind of mourn and you have to kind of like accept whatever's going to come. But funny enough, it's like unlocked a completely different way for me to compartmentalize and step away from the music for a day and then come back to it. So I'm showering in the morning, I'm thinking about the song that I'm walking into at 11 o'clock. So it's definitely upped my productivity. Working less hours has upped my productivity.
Yeah, you work better, not harder. And I think there's probably a moment in every person who's chosen to be a creative pursuit or anything where you kind of manage your own time a little bit, and you're not on like surgery time, like office time. There's a lot of time, right? It's all about time. Let's be honest with you. Life's about time. What you do with it, how much you have,
absolutely.
How much you waste, all that stuff. But then comes if you kind of take care of your own time to some degree, I reckon there must be a feeling of like a rewarding sensation of knowing that you can manage it with infrastructure and enjoy it with a bit of infrastructure.
Word, I mean, not to be super heady about it, but the word infrastructure, as like it's been the last, I think from like 28 to 32, infrastructure becomes you realize that like it's impossible to be running anything without a proper infrastructure. Like it's like, I could not agree with you more. Like, it has changed the thing. Like, even Lewis has stepped up. He's my day-to-day, my manager. He's just taken on so many roles that I know, even putting out an album to this degree. Like, I'm even just on some light shit. Like, I want to come back. I'm going to drop this off. I'm going to do one big show. I'm going to stay healthy. I'm not going to get wrapped up in it. I want to affect culture. I want to be heard, being seen secondary on the. Let's do it. You don't even realize. All the way down to changing the wallpaper on the DSP.
Yeah.
When you're doing it yourself, it's completely self-funded. 100%. You realize, like, if I don't have an infrastructure, and then, honestly, this album was more about providing the infrastructure. The music, I put my shit on the table. I'll look anybody dead in the eye and be like, this is the shit. The other stuff, I don't know what end is up. I don't know what's going on. So even just to be like, yo, your Twitter header got changed at 11 p.m. These are the 3 photos for you to choose from. I'd be like, yo, if I really was doing this without infrastructure, oh my God. And I think the word infrastructure and product and certain things creatives get a little iffy on, because you want to just be wheeling and dealing Tribeca in like a loft or some shit.
Yeah.
But like, without it, that was a great, I agree.
Well, because, you probably don't realize at the time when you're a kid, but when you make a decision to dedicate yourself to the arts, you become a business.
Oh my gosh.
You become a business owner, and you become a bespoke, very small boutique on a very large street. And some of those streets have 120-story buildings on them. That's called Swift Enterprises.
Yes.
And she's built a fucking magical wonderland for her own creative. And when you start...
Your stream of consciousness is so great, by the way. Yeah, I love it.
And I love what you think too. I'm going to get to you. But when you're on that street, man, and you literally don't even have like a cart with some water in it. you're walking around with like,
Literally.
hey man, I've got like some magic beans. Would you like one? Like,
yes.
So,
and you're the only one who believes that the beans are magic in the fucking first place.
That's right.
Can someone give me some dirt, please? I'm telling you,
just give me some fertilizer, right? This bean is fucking magical.
Yeah.
But I don't think people realize that. They just think it is an extension of playtime, and both can be true at the same time. It is an extension of playtime. Playtime's a beautiful thing. Brian Eno will tell you it's a great fucking word.
Yep.
But you got to acknowledge that you're a business owner.
Bro, it's like, it's that coagulating, ever-changing. It's nuts, dude. Even the idea of like full transparency, me being like, I have my shit back. I have my masters back now. They've been put in my favor. I waited it out. They came back. Like, I own everything.
By the way, you just put 4 stories on your building with that.
Exactly. So now the process is like dealing with the frustrations of doing this thing as just a labor of love. Because I've been fortunate enough to make enough global number ones where the bank account looks okay now. I'm not going back to the catering hall anymore.
Yeah.
That's always, I say that all the time. I just never want to go back to the catering hall. I just want to stay creative.
Yeah.
But now the new balance is like, to what degree do we open up? We dropped tickets the other day for a small show.
Yep.
Sold out in 18 seconds.
Yep.
We upped it to 1,200 people for a listening party. I'm like, I'm going to plug my phone in on some fly shit. I just want to play the new stuff 2 hours before the album comes out. That'll be really fun. If it sells out in 6 hours, 10 seconds of shit sells out, and then the fans are super, which we're talking about this in real time as this has happened the last 2 days. The fans were like, awesome, what the fuck? You know, you've been gone for 6 years, and now we're going to sit outside of the venue for da-da-da-da-da, and you're going to make us do that. It's like, first of all, I have no Live Nation contract. I'm renting the venue myself. I'm paying the band, the security. I'm setting up the merch booth. I'm doing everything. Did I miscalculate how big this was of a return? Possibly, but it's like, you're right. I have to tend to what a business is. And I have to be realistic about like, I was talking to my wife about it even last night. I'm like, to what degree do we open up the doors? But because I already have money, do I keep my sanity by not trying to make everybody happy and do 10 tours with the 20,000 people? Because the people want it. It's like, bro, that's what got me in the beginning, that drove me crazy in the beginning of my career.
But see, this is the interesting situation that you've established for yourself. You are a fucking fascinating case study right now. Because you really are, and
I feel it. I feel like a hamster. Like,
yeah, you are. You know,
exactly.
And test subjects have to go through some fucking weird testing.
Yes. And people are even the CEOs that I've written records for other artists are like, wait, so there's an email with the forum, and the forum goes up, and da-da-da. And I'm like, yo, I'm in the same boat as you. I was just like, if Instagram only reaches 3% of people, so the algorithm forces you to post to act like a monkey on the platform.
Correct. It's not
about the platform. It's about doing what the platform needs you to do to make the platform more popular. So then if I could get in the email and I just get 100% of 10,000 people and I could talk to 100% of 30,000 people, then 33.3 million followers on X shit doesn't actually matter. Yo, let me get my email list that I had 10 years ago when I got my contract.
So let's give credit where it's due. This is a deep one. To the crew that figured this out way before anybody else, and that's Hieroglyphics.
Absolutely.
In the Bay Area. When they were all signed to Jive and Elektra and all these labels, you know, Dell, Casual, Souls, Pep, all these amazing MCs.
Yes.
Signed to all of the hot labels at the time. Domino, their manager, producer, and all of them got together and were like, fuck that. Like, we're getting dropped, let's go direct to fan. And they've been living beautifully off of that ever since.
And it makes you realize, like, but then somehow, like, I was talking to my wife about it. I was talking about it in therapy too. Like, I'm the guy who's mad that I didn't get invited to the party that I would never have gone to anyway.
That's a fucking beautiful way to look at it.
So I'm like, Grammys and playlisting and certain things where I'm like, yo, how do we debut number 4 at blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
But the guy who streams 20 times less than me is higher on me on the place. And my wife is like, you just said you wanted to drop this off for culture.
Yeah.
Like, relax. And I'm like, wait, you're right. So then what's my purpose here? So like in real time, I'm still figuring out, like, bro, you said you wanted to sell out a couple of shows and they sold out in 10 seconds. Like, aren't you happy? It's like, well, I'm pissed that on the forum, the fans were like, yo, he's not like really like catering to the amount, and he's just like he's not really tapped into like I'm like,
he's creating too much demand.
And they're like, by the way, it's $800K to even just rent the skeleton of MSG. And they're like, why wouldn't you just do MSG? It's like, I'm like,
but that's why
you know what I mean?
That's why you're a case study, because when you said, we're the same, you're talking about the CEOs and whatever. Yes and no. Because what you're doing is if you were still in the label system, they'd be doing all that shit for you. If you were still in Live Nation, they'd be doing all that shit for you.
Cappy, by the way, Cappy and Lewis, thank the Lord.
Yeah. And they know.
I got with Cappy, he has a 30-person inventory on the management side through the Luke stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like I inherited a label. If I didn't inherit a label through a management choice with Lewis, my right-hand man, like being behind it, bro, we're all in the car like just trying to put an album out. It's not even like we're trying to take over the world. But for some reason,
he lives for this shit because he's done it with Luke. And the beautiful thing, the beautiful thing is what you've actually stepped into is a language.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is you're actually speaking the language direct to fan, the language of the internet, the language. You got to meet the people where they are.
Yep.
So someone isn't translating it for you. Someone isn't doing all that work for you. You're like, I'm speaking the language, which means that you get the rewards of it. Like, shit, you're back. We love you. The song's popping off. This is direct to fan consumer fucking relations. But you also get the heat because you are the business runner.
Bro, it's and
fascinating.
Fascinating. And it's the same thing even with the direct to fans thing, because even fans get to a place where like then they just be expecting it to be a certain way all the time.
Right.
Like lose money on every show.
Right.
You should cater to us in a way that and then you have a weird feeling of like, whoa. Now we're getting weights. But it's like, well, that was the point, is to go direct to the fan. So it's hard to please people. So you're in this weird...
So how much are you going to educate people at the same time? Because there's got to be a part of this. This isn't just about taking control and building your own business and ultimately having a farm-to-table operation, which is beautiful, by the way. But this is also a chance for us as fans, through this, again, case study, to actually understand a little bit of what it is to be an artist and run your own shop.
I can tell you right now, like the joke of the thing that you see of people being like, there's no money in it. Bro, there's no money in it. Like, I'm telling you right now, like, unless you get it to a place where you can construct it, like, it depends on what you're considering no money as well. Like, writers, I've already touched on this a bunch. It's like, writers, that's a joke. Like, if you're a writer right now and you think you're getting paid off of streams, it's like, we are literally, we're all walking jokes, that's for sure. The producer's only getting 3 points out of 100. There's 100 of those points. Yeah. And the guy who produced the song is only getting 3 to 6, depending on his heat check. Yeah. That's crazy. But like, it's all in real time. Like, I'm giving points to writers on the record. But now because I'm the label, I'm funding the front loading of every music video, everything myself. But the writers need to get paid on the point before I pay myself back for shooting music videos. So then people are like, just shoot 900 pieces of short form content and just so it's like, I'm like a dinosaur. I like music videos. I like art. I like long form content. I like sitting in the music. I'm just a music guy.
Yeah.
So it's all in real time, figuring out what it is. Like right now, we were joking around. We're making a product, and we got this little like factory, and I'm like, I just want to put out like a small batch, and I'm not even trying to make it sound like I'm so humble because I'm just like capping my success. It's not that. It's literally like, man, I'm blessed. I got a lot to say about being a father. I'm a little aggressively angry at the culture that lied to me from 14 years old to now, and I want my kids to feel something cool that encourages them to go in a direction. The tantrum of what a father figure is. I have something to say. I would like to take the risk to drop this off into culture. Let's make it. Let's put it together. I have access to the greatest product makers in the world because I've made some products for some pretty great people. So let me bring them in, jump on the shoe. They can help me. A little Tinker Hatfield over here for my Jordan and a motherfucker here for here. Let's just put it out and we'll put it on the curb and see if someone picks it up. And then we just kind of walk outside right now and it's 70 cars lined up honking trying to get the shit. And it's like, and someone turns around like, we're going to need a bigger boat. Like, but also the bigger boat is what drove me crazy. Like my wife, the fans should be really thanking my wife. She's like, no, go. It's okay to go back.
Yeah.
It's okay to feel successful.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel good. It's okay. Like you could go back to it now.
You're in a fucking fascinating identity space right now, bro.
The struggle to be genuine. Oh man, a little emotional. I don't know why I just said that.
We all struggle with that, Jon.
The genuineness of you're a dad and it's important to be a dad, but you didn't have the best day with your kids yesterday. So how dare you promote the archetype or even just talk about your angers and culture to be a father because look at you're not the guy to do it. Which then you're like, well, that's just the enemy talking. But then you also are like, I'm not the guy to bring this to the light. Well, then you justify it.
But
I'm not saying I got to be the leader of the dads, but I want to make a leadership record for the figure of a father with children.
Can't you decide at that moment that it's not inspiration, it's aspiration?
Yes.
Can't you decide what the motivation point is?
Yes.
That if I'm not inspired by my own behavior right now, let me aspire to do that.
Yep.
So isn't it just the filter that you look at it through? Because the feeling is the same. You're just trying to give it a purpose. But it doesn't have to be the same purpose.
It is like the weirdest time. It's the weirdest time. We're in the deconstruction of celebrity.
Yep.
And we're in like the crumbling of the institution of the fabric. Not even to plug the song, but like Modern Times in America on the record. It's this like hectic. When you think about my brain and thinking about my children growing up in the country, it ain't left, it ain't right. It's just my thoughts on the hecticness of like you hear a thunder and you're like, shit, was that Russia? Like that's a weird place to be in, and then all simultaneously we're like, it's like the most and everything's so live life the way that you want to and you got it, but like something in my stomach is like, that's the kids suffer through that because you're supposed to give up your life for your children. The culture's lying to me. Album, like, but then all around that, it's like commerce is boosting around and you're trying to keep it as pure as possible. And you're in this like weird, I'm giving you just I drove in from the crib today to come talk.
No, I get it.
I'm like, yesterday I'm at a christening, just pretending like I don't have an album in 3 days. And everyone's also being like very nice to me and very like, great song with Luke Combs. That was good. I have to take the time to allow myself the grace to say in real time, this will get figured out. I can't say 6 years ago, I was, I'm only going to be writing for and producing for other artists now. I only want hits and I'm never going back to artistry because fuck the system and my contract looks crazy. I'm going to make a pie chart and expose the whole thing. Fuck 'em.
Yeah.
And then 6 years later, it was like, I feel creatively like I actually have something to say. I've lived 6 years worth of life rather than switching genres and trying to be like, I feel like if I would have made an album every year, I might not have even found the full voice singing demos for other people or taken away some of the bedroom pop production for me to grow and mature. I feel like my music has grown and matured in a way that like it would have never happened if I didn't walk away from the artistry for a little bit.
I think there's no way you would have written a song like Why or got to a place where you had the perspective if you hadn't given yourself that time. Here's the thing, right? You are in it right now because you got a young family that you're 100% dedicated to. So a lot of your decision making, this is just my take, is probably being driven by like, am I doing right by that?
Yep.
Then at the same time, I've taken this big, courageous step into kind of building I wanted this. I was angry at the system. I want to take it back.
Yep.
I want to do it myself. I want to prove that it's possible. And then in both of these, you're trying to kind of understand who you are as a young man still in your early 30s, figuring out, okay, my identity's not that anymore. It's this and it's blah, 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 blah. And at the core of all of
10 out of 10 on.
And at the core of all of it is the actual truth, which is the music will lead you. The music will support. The music will support you.
Yes.
And if you actually just remove all of it and put everything where it needs to be and just sit still for a second and just listen to yourself for just a second, aside from silence and get to a peaceful place, you'll hear music.
Absolutely. That's like almost what you have to train yourself to just be like, just keep going back to the studio. So hold on. I'll answer that question tomorrow. I got to go stick with the thing that has created the thing in the first place.
All of this is happening because of music.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
I've been making the shoe to the point where I've sent the shoe to every artist and their mother, and the artist has said, I want to wear these shoes when I go play the game, right? Mm-hmm. Now I have the shoe in my hand and it's my own shoe, but I'm outside trying to be the athlete. And I'm back into this like, like I kind of want to go back to this. I just loved the shoe because when the shoe goes on someone else, the shoe gets perceived almost differently. I know that sounds like super deep, but like the shoe, if you put the shoe on Burna Boy and Khalid, the idea exists in a realm where it will be accepted culturally in a different way than if I'm the one that said, hey, motherfucker, I made that one. This is my artist song. Check it out. Yeah. And you deal with all these other things. So there's been a level of comfortability for me to be like, this will go off in that culture. I don't look like I'm from that culture. But I know I have ideas that will permeate through an existing market or whatever. and then to see it happen, there's a different type of like boulder Icarus toward the sun situation when it's your own face.
Yeah, fuck, of course
because
there is.
you have to like break down comparisons and break down because of anything.
You're out of your safe zone, bro.
Yeah,
You know what? You know where do you know where the most comfort exists for artists is the place where you get to blame somebody else too. So as soon as you have been
being a father, don't blame anybody.
You can't. Well, yeah. So you're in a mad, responsible stage of your life, and also even within your business. Yeah, you're a kid again. You have the freedom to do what you want. You've got a beautiful team to support you. But check this out: you got no one else to blame anymore. And as frustrated as you were with the system, it kind of gave you a protection, a security to be able to say, "You fucked my shit up."
Yep.
When you take that away, then you feel like you feel right now.
Yep. and you never even know to this day. I still don't know if people are always like, "Oh, I wish he would have sang XYZ. I wish he would have sang XYZ for XYZ for whatever artist you work for." You also have to come to the conclusion of like, man, those records were probably super successful because they gave up their life to be in a position for a record to even have a chance.
Correct.
So you can't just be on some ego shit like, I could have sang these joints and been crazy, but I'm choosing not to be the biggest artist in the world. It's like, bro, you don't even know if people are going to like a song that comes or doesn't like a song.
The song will find its home, dude. It will go where it wants to fucking go. That is the bottom line.
I've had songs for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. 5 years later, the artist finds it and it's like, this is some futuristic ass shit.
I love that shit.
I'm like,
I love that shit. I love that story about memories, how you're like, that's just whatever. And then boom, it becomes our fucking Apple Photos app fucking soundtrack. Every time I go to Photos, it's like, here's to the ones that we love. I'm like, holy shit. Fucking Levine is,
mind you,
Levine is making me cry because I'm watching a montage of my fucking kids when they were young again. Fuck you, Jon Bellion.
And by the way, I've said it many times. My ego almost got in the way of the song. You know, the day we made it, I was like, it's all, And then before it came out, I'm like, can we dirty it up and maybe add some drums?
Because it's on. But it is. You're absolutely right. That one is on the line between like, oh, I feel kind of sick. But at the same time, I fucking love it. It's really, and the big ones are that. Yeah. Like the really big ones are that.
You recognize too, like you gotta have, there's like a time and a place. There's a time and a place. And you recognize if you could just be more of the conduit, you're like, oh, what is supposed to happen and what's supposed to be made? That's interesting. Rather than, it's about mine. And if this becomes a big song, then people will only know me for the...
Well, you really, it's like, you get in it, huh?
Or the shit's going to be received how the shit's going to be received.
There you go.
And if somebody told me I could do a song for Jungkook and do it on a Saturday in my basement, alone, doing some melodies, send it back to Tehran and Watt and whatever.
Yeah.
And it send my kids to college, I'd be like, that's not a bad day at work.
That's a great day at work.
And then other times, I think the artistry though I do feel way more like responsibility to poke and prod at ideas and culture and yeah, I'm in this room saying this thing, wearing this color. What's your thought on that? That I feel more of a thing of my deepest thoughts or my moral obligation to present something that makes people, that stirs the pot creatively for other producers and writers to wake up and be like, oh, I didn't even think to combine that with that.
Well, that's why we started the conversation with Kid again, because it's one of those moments where I feel like you really are in that place, you know, even All Time Low. Like, I mean, when you listen to that song, it's like, you know, it's not a fucking conventional pop song, right?
Well, they told me it wouldn't work. They said it would never be a thing.
Weird. When you drop into the chorus, it's like, fuck, it's a surprise every time. And I've heard that song hundreds of fucking times. And it's like, it's like, low, low, low. It's like, oh, fuck. Like, where am I again? You know? And so you do have a very eccentric, and I mean that as the highest form of compliment.
I appreciate that.
A very eccentric approach to arrangement and to structure, even with the wake ups and the things that you love.
It wins and it loses.
To slap us.
I've recognized now in my 33 years of age, it wins and it loses. What a win is and what a loss is culturally or whatever. It's just that sometimes it really pays off, and then sometimes it just takes longer for the thing to hit, or sometimes it falls flat on its face because people just weren't ready for that design of a shoe. You gave them a Croc, like you gave them Crocs when Crocs first came out.
Are you a Simpsons fan? It's the car that Homer designed for his brother.
Yes.
It comes out with like wings and shit. And you're like, what the fuck is this
going on? Yeah. But it turns out that it was just for a time and a place and whatever. And also you realize when you're a wine connoisseur and you're making the wine and you're obsessing about certain things, the motherfucker who drinks boxed wine is just not going to care.
Yeah.
So you also have to play a bit of a game of like, it's not the most serious thing in the world, but it's also like super fucking serious because your
that's
legacy is
everything.
online.
No,
You know
that's
what I mean?
everything. That's everything. Like it's really it's just playtime, man. We're just making up, but at the same time, I fucking live for this shit.
Like even like the Rihanna joint that came out, the
Smurfs
friend of
joint.
mine joint. I'm like Chicago house and the beat and the beat and the beat will carry and the beat will carry and the beat will carry, and I'm not factoring in like fans are waiting for this other thing and there's gonna be these preconceived expectations for a song. When you do, coming up, there'd be three DJs in a dark basement, and sometimes one would start the loop.
Oh yeah.
And the grunge loop would go,
yeah.
and then a motherfucker with shittier speakers would do da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and I'm so inside of that I'm like, ooh, this sounds like a bunch of UK motherfuckers smoking fags, just like crushing in a basement.
We're on it.
And then when it comes out, you see this polarizing like, she's only saying 8 words. I'm like, yeah, that's the cool part though, because it's just like go. It's just like go, 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 and the beat's going. Or the Jonas Brothers. I'm like, yo, Americana.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a whole new landscape and a thing. And then sometimes some fans are just like, it's not what I want right now. But then you don't know, like later down the line, people will come up to me as to how I met Pharrell. Pharrell was like, that Jonas Brothers record, like, what the fuck were you on some da-da-da-da-da. So I was like, you gotta live with the frustration of being like, no, you just don't understand that this is the future.
The way I look at it is you're whistling in the wind, right? And when you do it, you put it out there and it travels.
Yes.
And the whistle never dies. It just leaves you. You don't know where it's going. And but the wind is whipping it all over the place. And every now and then it's like it goes past Jonas Brothers fans and it goes and they go, ah. But then it goes to Pharrell. And he goes, what the fuck is that? But it's whistling all the fucking time, you know?
Which is another reason why you can only do the thing in front of you to say, I like this. I have goosebumps. I think this can change the world. And from that point on, it's a victory to even just get it out into the world, 100%. I'd say. It seems like that. It feels a little consolation prize.
I mean, how else are you going to live your fucking life, right? We used to have this running joke because I was writing and producing for a few years before Apple came along and then diverted. And
I know.
I'm always doing that stuff. And
people don't. I feel like a lot of people come here and we never touch on like how big of fans people are of you. That's like, bro, I'm very aware.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But we used to joke, like when I was in London, we were doing a lot of like co-writing and sessions and stuff like that. Like we would always joke, me and my producer and engineer partners and stuff, we'd always joke like, someone would come and be like, oh, another Riri situation. And we were like, whoa, who was it? And they go, oh, such and such came up and we'd always joke, it was always the same thing. It'd be like, dude, come here. We're like, what? It's like, shh, don't tell anyone, bro, but don't tell anyone, okay? You know I'm going this, don't tell a soul, but I think I got the first Rihanna single. And we'd be like, a word? We'd be like, yo, congrats, bro, that's amazing. And then
I'm doing an interview, it's so funny. They're interviewing me
we all did it. Everyone was just like, yo.
They're like, yo, why do you think she chose that after 10 years of all the singles to come back with? Why do you think she chose it? And I'm like, well, she always wants to change it up, right?
Yeah.
The song comes out, and they clip what I said in the thing, and they're like, she wants something new, and da-da-da. The question was, but because the hype around her and even just releasing music is so real, that I was just like, I didn't even know I was stepping into a shitstorm of what it was. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's just
now, that's the first time. That's the first time in this whole conversation you've been naive, because that is Rihanna, bro, and she does not put a lot of music out right now.
But 10 years,
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe it's, you know what it is? No social media on my phone, just existing. You don't really.
You don't have any social media?
Now I do. I have like a fake Instagram to put less pressure on the real account, and I just photo dump information for the album on this fake account. Even having that has affected my serotonin and my fucking...
Oh, you're getting back in it, huh?
The homepage, and I'm like, I've been on here for 20 minutes, and I've seen a dog die, and a baby laugh, and a fucking cancer patient, and a political conflict all in like 20 minutes, and I'm like shot. Like I get off my phone and my eyes hurt. I've been like downloading all the fucking things, which I'm just like, and then I get a little double like, oh shit, am I walking into a world where I'm not even like, which could make the music sound, but in and of itself different or something. That could be an advantage. But like you said, like naivete is not necessarily this like, I'm just so pure. It's not that. It's just like,
You're not dialed in.
I'm gonna blow my brains out if I keep knowing the ills of all the world. Why would I even make a creative decision if I knew how much critique comes with creative decisions now?
It's a fine line between being responsible and being irresponsible, right? So there's a certain expectation to be responsible, i.e. to be aware of the world around you and to be conscious of everything that's happening, right? But then there's an irresponsibility to your own sense of self-awareness and health, mental health, because that is a never-ending fucking... There is 5 billion eyes. It's like, you know, in movies sometimes, like, I think it's Lord of the Rings. Was it who was the character? Was it Kate Blanchett's character that could see every fucking soul in the whole fucking universe? There's a character in some movie where it's like, I can feel all the pain.
Yeah.
You know, that's what fucking social media is. It's like, I see everything.
Bro, I don't even know how these larger, like huge artists, your whole shit is like a fish in a fucking bowl. Like you're in a cage forever. Yeah. Every decision, which is why I respect at some point, like the dilution of the institution of celebrity, there has to be some sort of reawakening for sure. Of some sort of just like the image presentation of like, I am the thing that you should follow. The faster we can kind of like all level out on that, feels like the moment art will have like another blooming renaissance to some degree. Because right now we're in this weird middle phase.
It's about the value proposition. It's like, why am I connected to your life experience?
Yes.
Is it because I'm obsessed with how you dress or your style, how your charisma, whatever? Is it because you're giving me something of value? Now, that's tricky too, because is what you're giving me of value to me, or am I addicted to the value it gives you?
Oh, my goodness.
So am I living vicariously through your value, or am I actually able to absorb, adopt, and execute on this? And so we have to start to actually analyze this experience.
Then you get into a deeper conversation of asking yourself the question of, what I'm putting out into the world, is that a representation of me?
Am I being honest?
Is it who the fuck I am, or am I playing ball to make sure that everyone feels okay with me to politically get further in this thing?
Or
by the way, I don't even know if I'm at the core of what that is.
Or am I a fixer? Am I addicted to offering value to other people because I see it as a transferable form of love back to me? Right? Am I being true in my intentions, even with good intentions?
So it's this, bro. And sometimes what I've recognized for me,
I should have put you to sleep.
There are times that I will just be like, in my career, to the frustration of everybody on my team and around me, it's just shut it down. I'm getting too like, I am like wound up, and now my intention is lost, and now I'm aggressively trying to compete in a marketplace for no fucking reason, when really the guy cutting his grass that made decisions in his life that needs an espresso in the morning, I just hope he gets this album. Well, then how do you get it? Lecrae was at the crib. He was like, that's my man, since you could ask him, whatever. He was like, yo, how do he listened to the whole album, and he said, how do you get this to the world?
Oh, like, that's the big question.
He's like, bro, he's in the studio. He's like, how, because I played him the whole thing top to bottom, and he was like, yo, what if people don't care? What are you going to do? What's the plan? And like, I felt embarrassed to be like,
I don't know.
I worked really hard on the music. It kind of begins and ends there. I'm not sure if I even have the talent, or if I even have the motivation to even give a fuck about making sure. Because what do you sacrifice to get to the thing? Because you always hear about these people that always say, well, I had to do this to get to this. But maybe you weren't supposed to get to that. Because now that you're there, you're a shell of a fucking person.
You've lost your way.
So you got to be careful to be like, well, in order to reach the pinnacle, because my message is the one that needs to be heard, of course I'm going to sacrifice artistically, creatively, morally, Of course I'm going to do that, because I have to get to the place. But then you're on the top of the mountain.
But that's what a record label was supposed to be about. The whole reason we signed record deals, and I've signed my share as well, was because they answered one simple question, which was, I would say, without asking, every reason you sign to a record label boils down to one fundamental principle throughout the history of this experience, which is, we will find your audience for you.
Yep.
And I'm not even sure they know how to do that anymore because we've given the fucking game. Well, I am sure. I am sure.
You were wildly positive.
I am sure. But I say that in respect, and I'm not just covering my tracks here. I say that with the greatest respect to my friends who do work in the record labels and the record industry, who are really fucking smart.
What? All the giant managers I talk to, myself, and the labels don't know what the fuck is going on. You have to mourn the idea of what it could have been given you doing certain things to get it there. And the faster you mourn that, the more you can kind of try to stay in a pure place of, I'm really just trying to get the dad who's struggling that works at the gas station
to hear this music.
To hear that shit.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the leader of those guys. I'm just saying the world has threw the baby out with the bathwater. And guys don't know now. I don't know. The institutions are gone. The thing is crumbling. And the thing is, okay, so where is our North Star to at least even wake up to be like, no, I'm reclaiming my kids. I think that's super cool. And I think being a present dad is super cool. And I'm going to beat my gorilla chest until the shit sounds fly as fuck so that people can be like, I haven't heard a guy talk about that in that way. You know what? I'm going to spend that extra hour with my kids today and going on the fucking slide and tell my boss to fuck off for a second because this is super important to me. That's my genuine, if only 100 people get that, rather than 1 million people don't understand it because it's super culturally popping because people just think they're cool standing next to it, get it to the 100 guys. How do I stay to the 100 guys thing? Well, it's John, you can't control how big it's getting. It's I know. Like you said, case study. So
you're a fucking case study. There's a few of you who are busting through walls right now, and it gets a little bloodied and a little bruised when you do that, right, for others to walk through. But I told you I'd give a little insight into why it's streaming and why it's working. You've opened up the conversation to a generation of creators and fans who also agree that there isn't a charted path anymore. Everyone's on the Pacific Ocean, and the navigation tools have all broken down and shorted out.
When you got to chop the apple tree, 3 hours of your day is going out with the axe and sweating and providing in your role to chop down the apple tree. Once it's at the supermarket, you take time to go. I said it in a couple of interviews. You get Apple or whatever you want to call it. Once you remove the thing, the purpose starts to get meandering in luxury. You start to have this. I want to be served so much that you end up you become so served that you're dysfunctional as a functioning member of society with your money and your celebrity and your this and your that. So you're in this weird, all men now are wait, I'm supposed to take care of the kid 50-50, but earn and be a provider, but also be super soft and be patient all the time and have all this time for my career and all this time for my kid. And then you go on your phone and they're like, do you get to the top of the mountain? Do you? And you're like, fuck, I am not a bajillionaire doing the I'm living this average life with kids in a regular town, and it's almost the culture is going to start to realize that we threw the baby out with the bathwater. We're that's the good shit. The diapers is the good shit.
That's what I was going to say. When you said I'm supposed to do this, and this, I was going to say the short answer is yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's a full life.
Yep.
At the end of the day,
I think we've lost the idea of the. We've lost the idea of the full life because we're comparing it to a bajillion other lives.
Oh, dude, man, the left and right is maddening. The left and the right is just maddening. What are you doing? What are you doing? How far? Where are you going?
My therapist was telling me that there's this dude
that's panning.
This dude went to they found a book, and I'm probably butchering this, somewhere around 1800s or 1900s or something. They found a book of a journal from a son and a father, and the father said, "Wasted the whole day fishing with my son. Got to get back to work tomorrow." The son said, "Had the greatest day of my life with my dad today. Went fishing." So there's something to be said to train yourself as a guy who says, my life is mundane. I'm doing the same thing every day. I'm just showing up for my kids. And every time I go on my phone, it's telling me that my life is fucking simple. So we have to find a way. Maybe I could just put a little bit of a, keep going. I don't know why I'm emotional about that. It's all of us, myself included, are just working with the tools that we've been given, trying the best that we can, man. I get so wrapped up in am I present? Am I too present? Am I not working enough for them to see a hardworking person, an example of that? And it's you got to get to a place where you just realize we're all human.
Do you know what the best example you can set for your kids are as any parent? Happiness.
Mm-hmm.
people think it's like work ethic, fucking da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And that shit's, of course, it's
Having a
important.
miserable billionaire pops has got to be rough.
Fuck that.
It's got to be rough.
Fuck that, right? Happiness, joy.
Yep.
That life is actually a fucking gift worth accepting.
Yeah. And that's only gonna imprint on how you actually live that out.
Yeah.
It's not gonna imprint if you're just telling them that.
They smell bullshit a mile away,
Yeah.
man.
Don't do as I do. Do as I say. It's
Your
like,
3-year-old right now is like a fucking, literally, his CPU
yes.
is like 5 terabytes and he's used like 3 megabytes.
Dude, I hear him throughout the day.
And he's just going,
yes. Yep.
absorb.
So fucking true. He's like, it's so funny. I hear him. I'll say things throughout the day, like joking around. Like the other day, my dad just called me joking around, talking about something. I'm like, just joking around. I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter though. I'm like, that and $1 gets you to ride the bus. Like, whatever. It's just like a saying of like,
what's the saying? What is it?
That and $1 gets you to ride the bus. Like, like who
Is
cares?
it a Long Island thing?
It's an Italian thing for sure.
Right.
So, and I literally hear him in the next room with his brother, and he goes, Nino, because his younger brother's name is Nino. He goes, Nino, that and $1 gets you to ride the bus, man. I was like,
I love that
I gotta watch what the F comes out of my mouth because he's watching.
Oh my God,
like,
is
really,
he watching?
Then you just start to realize, like, yo, the father is like wildly important in the home.
Yeah.
Like, you hear that, you believe that, and then you have children, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Well, because check this out, right? This is my take on it, and it's sensitive. And we have to walk this because we both have wives and we know our place in the home. And I certainly am not the boss in my house, and I love that. I'm very aware of who is the smartest and who is the hardest working and who is the best. But that being said, like the way that it was for me was that I recognized very quickly that just innate bond that my wife had with our children. Just an unbelievable, natural, fucking just genetic,
softness,
fucking
patience,
magic bond, right?
Thing, yeah.
And what I realized pretty quickly, which is why I had to go to work on myself, was that I had to actually define my role.
Yes.
Because I'm like, oh, my wife has a spiritual and holistic connection, an innate natural role to play here.
Yes.
I now have a new job. And yeah, I'm biologically connected to this experience, but she is the nature and the nurture.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've got to fucking figure out what am I actually going to contribute here?
Yes. I can, on the basketball court, I can will my way into making this the thing that
I
it
heard
should
you
be.
got game.
A little bit. I can will my way into this happening.
Yeah.
On my music career, I can will my way into this bank account. I can will my way with the kids and marriage and the unit.
No.
It's like, what do you need from me? Not what I think you need from me.
What I've learned is, you know what? Let your ego die to some degree.
Fuck yeah.
In the house. Let it fucking go. Let it fucking go. Go exercise it on this.
Would you say, like, to what degree you're willing to die of yourself is the degree that you can love them better?
Well, I would say strong language, but I can't really pick a hole in it. You know? Yeah. I mean, I think in the sense that, you know, you learn to just listen better, fucking get out of your own way, drop all the shit you inherited from your fucking own childhood, which is a big one.
Huge.
Really big one. Like,
huge.
That has no right to be in your house.
There's a song on the record called "Don't Shoot the Boy Down," and I'm talking about I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
I'm sticking up for myself as a little kid.
Yeah.
With experiencing trauma that I went through when I was a little kid.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Very important.
It has no role in the house. Fuck off. I'll deal with you in my own time, but I'm not going to deal with you in front of my kids. Like, I'm not going to fucking bring that along for the ride. And I did for a while.
That's probably what they mean by generational curses.
Sometimes I would hear myself and I'd be like, shit, I sound like my mom, man. Like, what the fuck is that? And so you really got to fucking try to find a way past that as quick as you can.
Yeah.
Because the relationship that you have with your family is pure.
Yep.
They are coming into this and absorbing.
Yeah.
So what they want to know is, what are we?
Yep. And am I safe with you no matter how my emotions are up, they're down, they're
not
this,
what
they're
are
that.
we and you were to you back then.
Yeah.
Like, what are we?
Yeah.
And that is fucking beautiful. And if you can get to a place where you can acknowledge that and also acknowledge, the areas where you weren't at your best and just cop to it, man. Just fucking cop to it.
So true.
Just be like, dude, I wasn't at my best back then. And they're like, cool. That really clears up a lot of shit for me.
Apologizing, I've noticed, has gone a long way with
dude.
even with my 3-year-old and my 2-year-old. I
Yes.
noticed that if, hey, daddy's had a long day and he lost his patience, and I should not have said that or shut the TV off so quick or whatever. You can tell even their shoulders, their presence, their whole thing kind of goes down. Because then it's like, it's not your job to be right in front of your kids. It's your job to show them that apologizing is just as important.
Isn't that just, that's what you do, dude. You great artists, listen to the, find a present moment. There's a tear in the fucking thrash of life. And in the middle of it all, the algorithms, the traffic, the car, the family, the drama, the unexpected shit, the good shit, the hard shit, there's a tear in it.
Yeah.
And you see a little bit of something that people we don't see.
So true.
And you go, I'm going to fucking focus on that.
Because I believe that's important.
Because I believe that should be captured forever.
Yep.
And shared with people so we just have a little bit more of an understanding of what this whole thing is.
There's from intro to the last song, the album has this very like guerrilla energy of this like masculine, don't you mess with my kids, I'll kill you. I'm ready to go. I'm a father figure. I'm ready. And the last song is like the opposite of that entire energy. It actually kind of contradicts itself, where you're just listening to this really scared guy who's very afraid of like everything that's going on.
I think we look at you and go, give us the answers. And I think it's really powerful sometimes when you say, I don't have them.
None.
And I think that's
that to me, what you just said, genuinely, is the entire, to me, sewer grate that's stopping the renaissance of the thing.
So let's keep talking about that.
Yeah, whatever that means. It's like we're on the edge of the geyser. It's like the age of Aquarius shit. Something's like ready to pop, and the collective consciousness feels like there's this moment where it's like, we're just gonna have to accept that we're human. Like the celebrity thing dies, and this. I just know, because I'm around a lot of artists, a lot of their time is spent making sure that they remain the thing that they think people want them to be.
Yeah.
And I promise you, if you were just exactly how you were designed, it will be more special and cosmic and universal than anything you could ever imagine. Watch, my album doesn't get reviewed well, but I'm just saying that it's one of those things where it's like,
you're gonna be out there doing a fucking Instagram run. You're gonna be like, "Hey, it's John on TikTok." I'll be like, "That guy's a fucking bullshitter."
This is my dance.
Hey, it's John. What's up? I'm like dancing John. We'll keep you honest, bro.